Thank you, Dr. Bachelet. Certainly what we were looking for is a new beginning and a new ways of working with fresh ideas and fresh insight. I want to give the floor to our participants. If I could ask you to come to the mic, just give me 1 second. If I could take a few people, and then we can take a first round of questions. You can come this way. Could you come to the mic, please? Maybe it's easier if people could just come to the mic. Yeah.
May I make a suggestion? Maybe to take like some numbers of questions, because otherwise 1-to-1 it will be. Yeah.
So I will take just first 3 people from this side and then 3 people from the other side. Madam, could you? And while we organize the mic, could I please ask you, in the interest of everybody, and to make sure that everybody has the right to speak, that you be very brief in less than a minute so that we can give the floor to everybody. So.
Hello, good morning. I'm Jokas, a grassroots woman leader of Dampa Federation of 217 grassroots organization from the Philippines. I'm glad to meet Madame Bachelet. So I'm glad to be here to represent 50 grassroots women from 26 countries, which we are affiliated to Wairo Commission and Roots International, and Wairo Commission is a GER campaign member. I want just to reiterate Madame Bachelet's dream about a nightmare about how to reach the vulnerable one. And this is my recommendation. I think that I hope you can take it. We want where that the grassroots women and the UN women will give us some space to consult, partnership, to be consulted and be involved in your strategic planning and process, and have a seat in the advisory board as grassroots women.
Thank you.
And we want that our basic needs, like issues of land and housing, basic services, agriculture, livelihood, and political participation will be taken at the global and local level through UN Women.
Thank you. The next, here, please. We'll take 2 and 2.
Thank you, Madam Bachelet, and thank you, all of you women, for what you shared with us. We are with you. Do you think that in the future, not too distant future, that in order to pull the women of the world even closer together and to take care to reach the vulnerable women as well, that we might truly consider having a 5th World Conference on Women? We would very much like to help you do this. I'm Annalie Heiges of the International Public Policy Institute, a Catholic Dominican sister at the United Nations, and we would very much like to help you and work with you and work with all of you. God bless you.
Thank you.
May I give you this?
Yes.
Please.
I'm going to take 2, Madam. Okay, two from this
is
side.
Choi Chang. I represent the World Federation for Mental Health. And also I come from Taiwan. I teach in Taiwan. I just like to say, because mental health is a basic principle. So when we're talking about all, we like to work as partnership with you, the director, and all of you, because on the table also we see lack of the people from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, for Asia. Because we're always talking about in different regions, but I think we need to link together and also exchange our good practice. Because when we're talking about the lack of all kinds of political, economic, social situation, we need to add some new element, how we can increase our physical and mental health. I think this is what I'm suggesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also
Madam?
we like to work as partnership.
Madam.
Oh, sorry.
Katie, go ahead.
My name's Kathy Peach. I work for an organisation called VSO. We've been running a campaign called the Godmothers campaign, which is focusing at the moment on securing a substantial funding commitment to UN Women from the UK government. I was very interested to hear the Secretary-General's comments that he will support UN Women with every ounce of his time and commitment, including on funding. And I would love to hear your thoughts about what you want to see the Secretary-General doing, particularly on the funding issue, and what can we as civil society do to ensure that he delivers on his words?
Thank you. If you would allow me, I would like to give the floor to Dr. Bachelet for reaction to these questions.
Well, our friend from the grassroots organization, of course, from the Philippines, I'm truly looking forward to ensure that women from grassroots organizations are part of the advisory groups, boards at all levels, at country level, at regional level, and of course at national level. Probably the issue is how do you select who will be the one who represents, because we cannot have a board with 5,000 people. But I will give you that task to decide who will be the ones. It's not for me to say who will be representing the grassroots organization, and be sure that the issues we will be working on are the issues that are important for the grassroots organization. And second, I believe that in terms of knowing exactly what we are doing works, is effective, is representing what women expect, or at least what women needs, because expectations can be so high. I will be visiting the regions, the countries, and when I am visiting the regions, the country, I will be, of course, organizing all the relation with the national government, but also with women's organization. And I hope that in those visits, I can also, and I will be making also field visits in the sense of visiting specific projects or specific situation. I was in the African Union Summit like 2 weeks ago in Addis Ababa, or 3 weeks ago, and I went to visit also a safe home. I went to visit a fistula hospital, because I really need also, and also not only because I want to know it more directly and to see if our projects are doing what they have to do and what impact. Because one of the problems with the UN system, and we're working on that, is that, for example, there wasn't any common gender marker. So how to track what we're doing on women was not there, so we're working on that. And UNDP has one, UNICEF has one, UNFPA is creating another, so now we're coordinating efforts, so we will have a gender market so we can really know how much we're doing. A second step will be, okay, we know how many initiatives, how much money, but what impact we're having. We're still not there, but we're going to work on that. And so that's why for me it's so important to be on the ground, looking directly at the things. Because I've learned in my life that people sometimes believe that their bosses want to hear that everything's right. And that's completely the contrary that I want to hear. I want to hear how things are going, if they're wrong or right, because that's the only way to improve and to do things better. And we, as UN Women, not only have to do more, but we have to do better. So when somebody criticizes or complains, for me, it's not only not an issue, but on the contrary, is the possibility to know if we're doing the right thing or not. On the idea of the 5th World Conference, well, I think it will be a great idea, and we'll try to do it. To be honest, I don't know how if this is something that I can organize. It has to be a member state's decision probably, but I think we can do it. We have to choose the right moment and the right idea, because we need it to go forward and not to set back. So that's why. But I'm for it. I'm for it. We're going to work on that. Our friend from Taiwan works in mental health. I wanted to be a psychiatrist, so I changed my mind because of exile, and then I preferred to work with children because I needed something that I could have more hope than what I felt in my country could have in working as a psychiatrist. But I think the idea, our idea when I've spoken about strong cases for women, for me, strong cases is also the possibility of building, bringing successful stories, good practices, because in many places, people can tell you as an excuse maybe, or maybe because they really believe it, that's not possible, it's not affordable, we don't have the money. But you can see countries that have in similar situations that have been able, because I'm convinced that in this area of women's rights and equality and empowerment, the essential thing is not an issue of funding. Of course we need money. It's a political will. Mm-hmm. That's the essential issue. That's what I need to work on, to create that political will. Because if you have the political will, you will always be able to create the fiscal space. If you set that as a priority, then you will find the money for it. And then you will see that maybe other things are not so important. Or you can fight corruption. I mean, you can do a lot of things so you can get the money. Of course, it will depend on the country, the level of you can start with maybe the basics, and then gradually you go up. I have another hat. I'm still the chair of the Social Protection Floor initiative of WHO and ILO. And we are working also on building a strong case why countries, every country, need to have social protection system that it could improve the most vulnerable one's life in terms of water supply, sanitation, housing, access to health, and education, and so on. We will be doing a new report, but based on successful stories, based on showing that it is possible and that it is affordable. And we're working with the IMF, who they are also trying to show how much it costs, show that maybe for the least developed countries it's not affordable, then we have to find ways to finance that, but for the rest it's completely possible. And that, I will tell you, women will be the essential beneficiaries of this also. So I don't have two hats that are not coherent, on the contrary. They're very consistent. This is my main job, but I still have some things to do there, to advocacy and so on. So new elements, good practices, I'm completely for it, and building partnership, that's how we have to work, and that's the only way it can work. And finally, to Kathy, when I was backstage waiting while the Secretary General was speaking, and when he said that, I said, I tape it. I'll record it. No, but I have to say, he has been very supportive in anything. Even everywhere he goes, he talks about UN Women. He presents me to everyone. So he's very, very supportive. But I haven't spoken to him yet. What did he meant exactly by saying that? But on Monday, we're going to make a trip together. So that will be the opportunity to know exactly what was he thinking on. I think he was thinking, trying to really express something that is real, and this is total commitment with women and UN Women and with women's rights. So, but if I see that I need some help from you, I'll tell you. But I don't think so. I think he's really looking forward to help us in obtaining funding. But anyway, we are doing our job too. We are working with countries, with traditional donors, but we want to start also campaigning in the way that Manas mentioned, non-traditional, with women of the world, and not only women of the world, men also. As I mentioned, I was in Davos. I talked to a lot of companies. So I think we need to also here to think in a more creative and innovative way. But one thing is not only funding. For example, G20 will have soon a meeting. And women are not only not in the high position level, they're also not in the groups who are making global decisions. Mm-hmm. Where are women on this financial crisis? Mm-hmm. Where are, not only women sitting at the table, but also the gender perspective. Where are the women's issue with climate change? For the first time in Cancun, there was a little, sentence of that women have a special impact with climate change, and that we need to address that.